Right, can you tell us a little bit about your Irish sense of humour?
Yes, I think all Irish people have got an Irish sense of humour, and it's a kind of humour that most people don't understand. The way I see it is that men would always say, women, I'll never understand a woman. But it works the same way. A woman cannot understand a man because men think differently to women. They problem solve differently and everything. And the Irish people are the same, you know, and I approach things from a totally different angle, you know. So things like the Father Ted, for example, that's the kind of thing would get me because I can understand that, and coming from a Roman Catholic background, yes, I can understand the jokes probably better than an English person could who's not a Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
But the sense of humour, we grew up as kids and we used to play practical jokes on each other, play practical jokes on next door neighbour. I'm not talking about simple, but we're talking about Ant and Dec. We're talking about well, carefully planned out practical jokes.
Yeah.
Being 7 at the time, I had to share a bedroom with one of my brothers in the top floor, and he snored. So I got so fed up with him snoring, I got out of bed and I went downstairs and I went into the garage and I got a car jack and I brought it up. Then I got another car jack and brought it up because I can't carry 2. Then went down and brought 4 bricks up. Then I went back down again. I got another 4 bricks, and I eventually had 16 bricks. So then I jacked up one corner of his bed and put a brick under it. Then another corner. I'm using the 2 jacks because you have to plan these things. Yeah, you can't do it with 1 jack. I managed to put 4 bricks under each bed, under each post of the bed. And my dad said, when you're finished, Desmond, you must always put your tools away. So I went down and put the jacks away. Normally I wouldn't bother, but you know, I put the jacks away. Anyway, I went back to bed and I just slept, and in the morning his alarm clock went off and I just bit the pillow. I thought, oh God, I can't laugh. I'm going to pretend to be asleep. Anyway, all I heard was this, followed by a bang. And that's it, I'm biting the pillow.
Yeah.
And they're the kind of practical jokes, because we went all out to play practical jokes.
Yeah.
And there was another occasion where I'm only 7. I'm a bit asthmatic, so I'm not a football kid, a sporty person, so I don't know much. I had a bit of a sheltered life, you could say. But these kids brought me all the way down to the bottom of our road, which was a cul-de-sac, and around the corner there was a small flats there. You know, multi-storey, 2 or 3 stories. And there were trees there. And the kids would climb the trees like kids do, and I climbed the tree. And this window, and the light's on and the curtains are open, and this man and woman, naked, in front of the window. And even though my naivety, I suddenly dawned on me what these two were up to. And they were being a bit exhibitionist kind of people. And they knew the kids were out there, because even though the light was on inside, they could see what was going on. And they were doing it for the kids. So me, with my Irish sense of humour, practical jokes, when I came home from school that day, or as soon as I came out of school, there's a corner shop, isn't there, a sweet shop, and they're selling fireworks because it was coming up to the end of October. So I got a dozen bangers, and not the ordinary bangers, not the 3-2 ones, the really big loud ones. And the following day I got another dozen, so I had at least 2 dozen, maybe more, bangers. So my dad had a cellar. So I bound them in this green twine that we have for the garden, and I got some more green twine. I got some bit of paraffin, so I soaked it a bit, and I tied it around there, and I went down the road there, and I climbed the tree, and I tied with another piece of string, tied it to the branch, and I ran it down the side of the branch coming down there, and I lit it, and it was a very small fuse, so I got enough time to get away. So I went down there, climbed down the tree, and I was going home, and it wasn't so much a bang as more of an explosion. You could hear it halfway across Manchester. You really could, this thing. And I told this to several people and said, Desmond, what happened after that? I said, I don't know, but I reckon the earth moved for that night.
Oh, yeah. So
that's the kind of comedies I do.
Yeah. And do you draw on your own life experiences to create characters? And
I do, yes. I could do a shipping one, Could you ever, for example, Only Fools and Horses, they had this granddad who, it wasn't a granddad, it was the granddad was the first one, wasn't it? I don't know what the other one was. And he was like a sea dog. And he was like sinking his own ships kind of thing. But I was a raid officer in the Merchant Navy, And some of the life stories I could tell you and put into comedy. I had one example there where I'd had a few drinks the night before and I woke up and I heard this twittering noise. And I got open one eye and there were budgies on my bed. I thought, I know I've had a lot to drink last night, but come on. And I looked around, there's more budgies, and there's budgies on the floor. There's budgies in the sink. There's budgies everywhere, on the top of the wardrobe. Because we were often near Jamaica in the Caribbean there, and there's been a storm in the middle of the night, and my porthole was open. And obviously they took refuge in my cabin. Hundreds of them. Anyway, they obviously died because they were too worn out. But these things happened, and I was even on a ship one occasion, and it's probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, the alarm goes off in my room, and that only goes off if a ship is sinking. And during the night, if there's a certain coded message is sent out by a ship, this picks up the coded message and starts the alarm bells off, because they can't guarantee that someone's going to be sitting at the radio for an SOS. But in this case, it was our ship that was sinking. And my captain had set it off. So I had to get up there and I had to rescue the ship. I had to call for help. And in my case, the problem with the sea is that I have to send out for help, and any ship in the vicinity has to come to your rescue unless coming to your rescue could endanger their ship. So a ship carrying dynamite is not going to be a kind of ship that you want to come to rescue. So, and we nearly sank in the same location as the Titanic. So yeah, I would say that I could tell as many stories as that guy in Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah. And what comedy projects are you working on at the moment?
The comedy projects I'm working at the moment, there's one I've got as an idea of a women's factory making women's clothes, high-end market kind of stuff for boutiques, blouses and skirts and dresses, that kind of stuff. And I thought I could do a comedy around that, and to make it more diverse, there's a gay person in there. I might bring a lesbian one, but I don't know many to actually write among them. And I brought an Asian woman in there, and I think there's a politician on the TV, Chakrabarti, and she was good surname for her, so I think I wrote her surname into that. And the other one was I wrote a comedy some time ago based on an old guy who had a transport cafe. He's a retired miner, and basically he sank half his retirement pension behind his wife's back when she's down with her sisters in London on a transport cafe, which is not a really good one. But he can't cook. But he thinks he can cook because he's good at barbecues. Everyone, maybe blokes think they can do. So he gets this thing there, and so he had to cut the cafe. So I did a comedy about that. So then I have to write 6 episodes to see if I can actually write full 6 episodes for this pilot. And one of them was called The Eagle Has Landed. And what happens in this one is that this guy realises that the business is not doing very well at the moment. His wife's giving an earache, in the back, that this business, and they're going to have to sell the place. So he turns around to Joe in the pub on a Sunday night and said, can you pick me up at 6 o'clock in the morning and bring a ladder? And he said, what are you up to? He said, you're up to something. I said, never mind, just pick me up at 6 o'clock in the morning with a ladder. So he comes around at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they drive out to the cafe, and there's a big field behind. And he gets to walk in the field, and there's a tree there, and he puts the ladder against the tree. He says, what are you going to do? He said, watch me. And he climbs the ladder, and when he gets to the top of the ladder, he pulls out this big rare bird, this vulture, whatever kind of bird, a rare bird that'd be rare for this area. And it's just a stuffed, and he decides to nail it to one of the branches. So the guy down there, Joe, thinking, that's never going to work. There's no way you're going to convince people that's a real bird. So by the time I'm finished, they will do. So he climbs down, and they put the ladder away, out of the way, and they go to the edge of the field, and he takes a photograph of it. He says, by the time I send this photograph out to all these people in all these bird societies, they're going to be coming here, they're going to want to look at that bird, and they're going to want something to eat, aren't they? And then they take the bird away, and yeah,
Yeah.
and that'd be a good idea for a comedy.
Both sound fantastic.
Yeah.
Des. That's great. Thanks for your time and all the best to you.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.